Hey Pelham, how's it going? First of all, let me thank you for sending in your work, and I really like this image because the idea it has, the concept that you are trying to portray is very dramatic and it creates an emotion of danger, right? Because there is a lava and especially red color. So but although the concept is great and this reminds me of Lord of the Rings, the final scene of the Return of the King, if you have seen the movie. So even though the idea that this image is conveying is that this area is dangerous, but the use of color is not suggesting that. So the use of color should reflect the basic idea of this image, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna compare this painting, the same mood that you are trying to convey with the mood of the Lord of the Rings, right? So if you can see that this is a similar kind of mood, if you can see that this is a low resolution image that I could find on the internet. So if you can see in this image, let me just take a brush. All right, if you can see that the colors are very monochromatic, right? So you've got the whole image. The whole image is a monochromatic image, and it has got the reddish hue throughout the image, right? Even though you can see the sky on the background, sky on the whole area, sky. This is very unsaturated, right? It seems that it is slightly bluish in hue, but this is a trick of our eye, because if you can see, if you can sample the color, it is like reddish area, orangish hue, and very low saturation and even value. So this is what our brain does. It tricks our brain, these kind of using a very low unsaturated reddish color will give you an effect that this is a cool color. So the idea is that the point that the director is trying to convey is that these guys are in danger. And they are in the lava, right? So the whole image carries that mood, that carries that danger idea. So the use of the red color, it is obvious that we associate red color with danger, right? So what you need to do is also that you need to make it monochromatic image to be very clear in your statement, right? And right now the values that you are using is complementary color scheme, right? So these are cool colors with very warm colors. So this is a wrong approach, because this creates this does not convey the mood of danger. So what you need to do is take the selection and tone down the saturation, and even make it a reddish hue. This is much better than the previous one. So if you take a look at the color wheel, so it's got the warm colors and cool colors. What happens is that when you use your color contrast, like complementary color scheme, that a warm color with a cool color, you create the feeling of calmness, and you don't necessarily, you can't use that color scheme, the cools and warms together. You cannot use that with the mood that you're trying to convey. We don't perceive danger with the complementary color scheme, right? So in order to give a very bold and clear mood, you need to use your colors very closely, which are, for example, if red and yellow are very close, right? So these are analogous color scheme, two colors which are right beside each other. So if you use your colors in this range, it's gonna create a different effect, right? And effect of danger, more specifically. So let's take a look again in your painting. So it is much better, and let's jump to the next point, which I want to discuss is your value groupings. So let's take a look at the value structure in your painting. So right now I'm seeing that you have a very dark background with bright values here, and then in the background it becomes rather flat. So we need to adjust that, because that is making it very 2D, right? It's just making, we only see it as a shape, right? Like this is a shape, and the rest, this is a shape, and the rest of the image, right? So this is not that impressive. So what we need to do is that take a layer first, and the selection, give some bright areas to this area, to your painting, basically. So let's say take some darker values. Let me zoom that out. And with the background mountain, let's just take another layer. And give these background mountains a little contrast. So let's darken it. Now it's looking quite better. You see, the kind of environment that you are painting is very atmospheric, right? So it's got a lot of smoke and steam in it, so things are gonna be much darker because of less light, and it's gonna be much more contrasty and filled with atmosphere a lot. Okay, so yeah, so this is much better than the previous version. You can see. So if you take that into black and white mode, now you can clearly see that we have a perfect division of dark, medium, and light, as I spoke about that in the previous critique video, right? So you need to make sure that your paintings have a clear dark, medium, and light value structure. So let's take a look at another point which I want to make, is that the use of 70-30 rule. So the 70 and 30% rule is the thing that I use a lot, and this is a formula for me and for many other artists. What that is that when it comes to your values, you need to divide your painting into 70-30. For example, 70-30, 70% could be in darker values, and 30% could be in lighter values, or the opposite, that 70% could be in lighter values and 30% could be in darker values, and that creates a particular mood in your viewing, in your brain, and that is very effective technique to create a powerful image, right? So that is what we are all after, right? 70-30 rule. So yeah, so in this image you can also do that, and which I just did, like I darkened the background mountain and brightened the sky. But I'm going to add a few more elements into this painting to either to even enhance that further, right? So here comes my next point. There are 2 points that are left, right? Designing of your focal area and your atmosphere for mood. So let's talk about that. So it seems that this is your focal area, right? This is your focal area. So if that is a focal area, then you need to do a proper design for this, right? This does not look very a very great design. I mean, I understand that this is some sort of a man-made structure in the mountain areas, but you need to design that. Like you see, when I do my illustration, and you can see that I do a separate page for my designs, focal area designs. So you need to do silhouette studies for that and come up with better design, and utilize that in your painting. Also I can notice that there is a bridge that you have painted, and this does seem to me that this is a part of a focal area. This is a really important area, right? So even though this is a really important area, but if I quickly look through your painting, I can easily miss that area because that is not properly defined. So we need to define that, and we need to make it stand out. So because this is a part of a focal area. So how I'm going to do that is by using atmosphere, lots of smoke and steam and things like that, and that it creates a really moody effect in our paintings. So let's take a selection. So I have got this this brush. I'm going to create some glow effect and some smoke. This lava is very hot, right? So it is gonna glow a lot. Even in the foreground, it will glow a lot. And now you can see that this has got much more aggressiveness to it. This is much more aggressive now because of the glow, right? And the next thing which I'm gonna do is take another selection, and I'm gonna create some smoke. So let's take a somewhat darker color, and we can adjust that according to how we need what we need. So let's just first create the smoke. remember the smoke, if this is steam, then this is gonna be lighter in color, but if this is a smoke, then it is gonna be darker. So let's just take a mask so that I can move it around. You need to see what's working and what's not. So it's sometimes it's a trial and error type of thing. Okay, let's log the transparency, and because this because the lava is very hot and it is giving off light, so it is also going to illuminate the smoke or steam, whatever. With the reddish hue. Make it much smaller. I think that is better. Lower down some of the opacity. Okay, that is much better. Let's take another selection, another layer, mask. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some selections to further divide my background. And let's take a smoke brush. I'm trying to hide and reveal some of the areas in the background mountain, and that creates a very natural feel to the smoke and makes the atmosphere look more 3D. The atmosphere is not 2D, so it also follows the perspective, and so it's gonna behave and interact with your objects in your scene. So it's going to hide a few areas and reveal in certain areas. So utilize these kind of natural phenomena of light and shadow in your paintings to create an interesting artwork. This is much better than the previous one. All right, let's take another I think this area is better. Okay, let's give some steam to this area. Also make sure that you do not go overboard in creating the atmosphere. You need to be very subtle. Let's take another. Oops. Okay, let's take this brush. You can also just design your smoke and then place it wherever you want, right? This can be used as clouds. So let's first take this. Okay, this is much better. Yep. Also, I want to hide this area because somehow this does not feel right, because I need to make this focal area as bold as I can make it. So in order to do that, I need to remove this hard line. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a soft brush and just simply cover that area in smoke or steam, whatever. As you can see now that this focal area is much more pronounced and bold, and using these kind of techniques that I've just showed you, you can create an effective painting, right? So these were some of the points that I wanted to show you. Also, sorry, I forgot to make this adjustment too with the bridge. So let's take the selection for this bridge, and using the same technique you can make the bridge more prominent. The technique is same, you just need to be aware where to use these kind of techniques, right? So let's use the glow, because this is directly above the lava, so we are gonna use the glow to separate the bridge and make it more pronounced. Much better. You can also flip the canvas. Okay, now let's take a look at the values. This looks much better. Also, another thing which I think would improve your painting is that we need to remove this light. This is very distracting right now. So let's just take a selection and grab the darker color, make it darken. This is now much better than the previous state. And you can go on and do a lot of detailing with the same technique that I've just shown you. So this is gonna receive some of the light from the bottom area. So yeah, so I hope you learned something, and I hope to see more painting from you utilizing what I've taught you. And this painting which you sent me was much better, and I really enjoyed critiquing your work. So thanks again for sharing your work, and I hope to see you for the next critique. Thanks.